Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z, episode 260. I'm Ticket Master, joined by.
RPG Maniac 05.
And Trioptical.
So yeah, we've got so much been playing, and that's really all we have lined up. Because we didn't really get too far into the pre-show besides what we've been playing, so we'll just do it aimless style and not let you down.
Pretty much.
It's how we do. It's how we do.
So starting off, let's go ahead and jump into the Oh, Destiny, la 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 la, it is yours or not, Destiny. Yeah.
Wow.
Are you falling out of love with this game?
Yes,
I feel like
am
he
trying to
is.
call. It's
You
like
are? Wow, really?
I think he has been for a while though, because you can kind of see like he had been kind of slowly slipping down that slope for weeks. And
You just like
like
see the air coming out of the balloon, just like I'm just deflating.
I think the problem is
So-
he started out playing it too much, and that was he never took breaks or anything, so that kind of screwed him
Yeah,
up.
I'm curious. Like, what is it about it now?
What is it? What?
Like
about
causing you
the
to
game,
fall out
right?
of love.
Yeah.
It.
It's okay. Okay, there's like multiple things. I think it's just that once you get to a certain point, there is no real in game, and your goal is just to get better. Or like as far as like the exotics, like you can upgrade them, but it's like if the next expansion is just upgrading exotics again, and it's like new raid and level capture days, and you get new raid gear again. It's like all the in-game stuff is always the same, and it's not really. I mean, yes, the raids are cool, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have there be like some sweet story finale climax action going down. Besides, let me play this story a thousand times over, and whatever. Strikes 1,000 times over, whatever. Bounties 1,000 times over, whatever. So yeah, I'm just I
So,
think I've had my
basically,
fill
like,
of Destiny.
Despite the game having been fun, like mechanically, you still think it's fun
Yeah, it's not like
mechanically,
it's
right?
fun. Yeah, it's just
It's just that content-wise,
Yeah, content-wise,
it
dude.
is not doing it for you anymore.
does not scratch that itch.
I kind of mentioned that being an issue, like from the beginning. With Destiny, and Tekken was
Yeah, I
all,
think
like,
everyone mentioned that in the
defending
beginning.
it.
It was just like, there's not that much stuff.
But see, he refused to take breaks though. Like he didn't play other things like he should have while he was playing Destiny. And
I'm
I
playing
think
RPG. I played through Far Cry. I played through Shadow Mordor.
yeah, all after
Counter-Strike.
the fact. That was like months into it, and by then it was already too late. You had already started to become broken.
I think that's
So
the other
it's
thing
like,
is like it is like a continual cycle of like the same things will happen when you're like after I almost got broken that first time to 30. It's like now that I'm 32, it's like the same thing's happening. It's like my warlock's not getting the boots he needs. It's like whatever. I don't care.
I did
I do, but
That
whatever.
is when he first got sort of broken. Like, he never got those
the
boots.
raid, and he's still on the damn
now
boots.
he's
too.
not-
It's like-
now he's not getting the next
A,
boots.
it's happening again, and B,
Like-
my warlock still ain't got those boots. So I'm like, just like
don't need the
just
vault of
twist
glass
knife
boots anymore,
even more. It's like,
Tekken.
it doesn't matter, RPG.
They're
At this
worthless
point,
to
it's
you.
personal. It's personal, and I will not. I can't stop playing until I get them because it's like what, you're not gonna do this to me, Destiny. You're not gonna break me like this.
completely worthless though. You don't even need them. You
You
can
never
buy.
know. You never know. You might be able to like upgrade them to like level 32 Vault of Glass or something and make the raid.
I actually think, yeah, at some point, the Vault of Glass stuff, they are going to upgrade it, like they do with the weapon drops for Vault of Glass. Because otherwise,
It's not relevant.
the older raids just they're worthless now.
Yeah.
Just going through the motions until I get my Thunderlord. Until I get my Thunderlord.
Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I think another thing is if you're looking for content, then it is sort of like the Titanfall situation where the developers decided, hey, people play way more multiplayer than they do single player, so we're not going to spend as much time on single player and just make. Well, in Titanfall, it was like we'll combine them, and then everyone is playing all the stuff that we spent the most time working on. And in Destiny's case, they just decided mechanics, like our mechanics are going to be super fun to play, and then you'll just play that, and we don't really care if you play single player or multiplayer. But there's going to be, I think if you only play single player stuff or like PvE stuff, you're at sort of a disadvantage as far as the types of content that are coming out. I mean, if you look at when they announce the new expansions, it's always, there's three story missions, but there's also 3 new multiplayer maps, and so they're already equal there. And then if you're playing multiplayer and single player, you have twice as much new content essentially.
And you kind of get effed in Iron Banner where it's like, oh, you didn't get that level 32 gear in the raid. Well, guess what? You can get an
What?
Iron Banner.
I mean,
It's
but
not
it's not like
okay. Yeah, so
well for
RPG's
one,
actually played it recently.
well for one, I mean, it's only the gauntlets that'll the level 32 gauntlets, and for two, I mean, once everybody's around the same level, it's kind of like playing it without the level advantages anyway. So it's not like a big difference. I mean, you just don't see like any low level players trying to run up in there because then they're pretty much like trying to kill you to no avail because you're like a question
Is
mark.
it mostly 32s right now?
No, I actually only have seen 132 in the time I've been playing. It's all
Huh.
everybody's been 31 or lower. I think the lowest
Because
person
like that,
is like 29 or 28.
because like the one Iron Banner that came out, was it slightly before or maybe during when the expansion was out?
Mhm.
Uh, um, I saw there were actually a lot of 31s, and I sort of thought, okay, well, that kind of makes sense because you can just buy your way into 31, but there's not going to be a ton of 32s. So me as a level 21, I don't have to worry that much. And so yeah, like 31s, I can't tell that they're 31s because it's just question marks. Um, but it's still doable. You're at a huge disadvantage, but you can still win.
I think that's the other thing is like, there is that like that initial push when the new content drops of like, let me get this gear to get this next level. But then when the next
Mm,
expansion rolls out, it's like, oh, the tower gear is now the like limit of the last
yeah.
expansion, so it completely negates all the effort and
Yeah,
blood, sweat, tears, tooth
that
and
kind
nail
of
grinding. Oh,
I think that was kind of a
that
problem
was like a kick in the
when they did
junk
that
for me.
because it was like, well, we did all these weeks of
Mm.
raiding to not get gear, and then it's like, oh, you can just buy it now. So that was that's not a problem.
Yeah,
So
I was very
I
not
mean,
happy.
I guess I've had a really different experience then because at least for the first part, I wasn't really in that much of a hurry to get to 30. The only reason I um, got to 30 that time, well, first they did the Iron Banner thing, and I just bought my way into 30 after extensive, PvP play.
it does take a while to get the
Yeah,
rank.
but I
Now
did
anyway.
get that, and I wanted to do it because you guys were moving on to the hard raid, and I was like, okay, so I need to be level 30, otherwise I'm gonna be a burden. And I'm sort of a burden right now in Crota, I think,
I mean,
because I'm still level 30. I
you don't
haven't
really die
really
though,
gone
so
beyond that.
it's fine as well. Because I mean, it's not like you die all the time, so it's
I
okay as long as
chalked
you
that
don't
up to my training in the Iron Banner.
to avoid getting murdered
It
quickly.
was yeah, it was really fun actually because I had to change my entire way of playing. As my Titan, I would just run into checkpoints and they're shooting at me. It's like, well, yeah, but I have more health than you and we're sort of the same level, so you're not doing extra damage to me. And I'm just going to shoulder charge you, and that will kill you in one hit. So
Shoulder
I
charge
don't even
is
care.
Iron Banner. I do it so
Yeah,
much. It's almost like
it's so fun.
because somebody will be running
It's
around the
fun when you
corner.
hit them in
Oh crap!
midair. Actually, that's the coolest because they'll be in the air and they're like, "I'm sort of safe from this Titan whose charge killed me so many times."
I
And
have
you
tackle.
can jump up and do like the
Yeah.
knee in the face, and it's like,
It's like I have to
yes,
tackle people in midair, and it's just like, haha. Because it's always funny when
it
it's like
looks so
when they come
cool.
around the corner, and I'm not expecting that. Just hit the melee button on like reflex, just shoulder charge them. It's like, yay, I saved myself. Oh,
But then when you are 10 levels below the highest level players, you have to think about the game in an entirely different way. It's all about holding positions long enough so that your allies can get there.
mhm.
Because actually, one of the cool parts of the game, and I still think control is so cleverly designed. You'll see everyone run to a control point, and because there's only 6 players on a team, it's like, okay, there is no one at the other ones because there's 5 guys there, and I just kill one guy over here, so there's no one guarding these, so I can just run to the one that's totally empty. And as a level 21, like you have to do that because you can't really
Trying to
take
go
the
head on.
engagements
Yeah.
sometimes. And that was interesting too because when I went in as level 21, I thought everyone would be 30s and 31s and it would just be me just running everywhere trying to stay alive. But there was actually a lot of people 25, 27 around there. And so there were chances. Like I found out with fusion grenades, I can actually, if I hit a guy twice with my auto rifle, 2 or 3 times, and then stick the fusion grenade on them, they will die instantly. It's like, oh, so that works. Like I have a way of defending myself. And then if I turned on Radiance, then it was like one melee hit, and I could kill people within the 25 to 27 range. It's like, okay, so there are ways around it, but you play in an entirely different manner. You have to think, you have to play really smart, and your deaths matter too. Every death gives them at least 100 points. You don't, when the games are really close, and there's a lot of really close ones, like you have to not give them those points, and so running away is like always the option. And then I keep thinking, it's like, this is how Batman feels when he's playing with the Justice League. Like he is like, everyone charges in and it looks really cool, and then Batman just sort of has to dodge, and he's attacking while he's defending.
Is he
so
really
he's like
dodging
throwing the
though?
batarangs while he's like dodging out of the way of like fire blasts and people shooting lasers from their eyes, and it's just like, yeah, crazy powerful guys all around me. I'm just gonna try to stay alive here and do my part.
It's funny because it's probably like how they feel about fighting with Batman to begin with, because everybody's always like, Batman's so badass and everything to try to fight him. So they're probably like, well, Batman's in the battle, so maybe we should.
I tried to live up to that, and it was actually not too bad. Like I could often end up in the top 3, and it was really cool. It's like, wow, this is so awesome. And it wasn't until much later actually when I discovered the fusion grenade, and that's when it was like, oh, it all clicks now. This is what he does. Like he throws the batarang, and they're like, haha, you missed, and then it's like stuck on him, and it explodes, and like it was really cool. And so yeah, I feel like throughout all the modes now I play slightly differently. Even with my Titan now, it's like I could go in all Titan punch, berserker style, but it's like, if I don't, it could turn out better.
I mean, my character setup is usually different for Crucible than it is for when I'm playing PvE, so it's kind of varies. Because like when I'm playing as a defender in the Crucible, I have my stats set up differently than when I'm playing like PvE. Because like with PvE, I'm more like set up just to like be like an orb machine, whereas like PvP, I'm actually more set up to be like a support character for my teammates and stuff, so they can get the defense buffs and all this extra stuff instead of like trying to make orbs, because it's not as much of a thing.
Quite as useful, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot easier
to
make orbs in PvE than it is PvP anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, like going back to the different experience, I'm playing with a second team, and they started Destiny much later, and we just finished sort of the main campaign stuff, and we haven't played, I think, out of the, how many strikes are there? 8, maybe 6.
I think there's
6 or 7, 8
or something.
We've played maybe half of those. And it's really cool because I'm following them, and I was the one who recommended the game, so I sort of feel responsible for them having fun with it, and following them at like this slower pace, not Tekken's breakneck speed. You look at it, it's like, wow, it's actually a really nice and smooth experience for those people. When you're at the forefront, you have to depend on like the luck of the draw. And you're depending on the luck of the draw to get to 30. And, that was like week after week after week. And so you feel like you put in all this effort. And then finally, expansion comes out and it sort of negates your effort. And, maybe that's discouraging. But for new players who aren't at that level, I look at it for them beforehand, and it's kind of like, well, this is really cool because they won't actually have to go through that. They will get to 20... what was the thing? Like 28. I don't know. I don't even know if they're gonna hit those like middle levels anymore. But they'll get to 30 pretty easily. It's still gonna take some grinding. I mean, you gotta play strikes and get the marks and the commendations and stuff. But from what you guys are saying, like it's pretty quick.
I mean, I have like so
right?
many
Like you have
commendations
tons of
I
that
them,
have like
right?
11 or
yeah,
12 combinations. It's not even.
they're just
Yeah.
like sitting in my
They're
vault right
completely
now.
useless. Well, it's so weird because it's like they upgraded the damage on the legendaries, but it's only by 31, and like I was going to like go ahead and like change them, but looking at what they have in the tower, it's like this is all crap gear, so f them, and until I get like something that's as good or better than what I already have, which is like all fully upgraded anyway, then I'm not gonna exchange it because it's like the time you have to put in now to like, well, I guess not to put in now, but like because of the glimmer thing, it's like glimmer is more valuable, so I'm not giving that up anytime soon unless it's for raid gear. So it's like, sorry, unless you're a legendary weapon that's exactly the same, but a new version that does 331 instead of 300, you're not staying with me. You're just gonna get dismantled. So sorry. And then it's the same thing with the armor. It's like if you're not raid gear, I don't need you because I can just swap in my raid gear for the exotics I want to level. So whatever.
Yeah, that I don't think that's going to happen with them. Well, I mean, they're not core gamers in the way that we are, or as we understand it. They're more casual.
Ugh.
So we played a lot of Call of Duty over the past few years, and then they decided they wanted PS4s, and they've fallen out of multiplayer PvP Call of Duty. So like, what do we want to play now? And I was like, well, we were playing a ton of that Aliens mode in Call of Duty Ghosts, and there were a few levels of that really reminded me of what we've been doing in Destiny. So I think we should go with Destiny. And they're like, okay, we'll go with Destiny. And they're really liking it. Like we played Diablo before this, and so one of them was like, "Yeah, this game combines like what I love about shooting in Call of Duty and what I like about loot in Diablo. So this is like the perfect game."
See, Tropical, I came up with a new slogan for anti-PvP. I told RPG this a couple days ago, and it's cooperation over domination. And I think what you're saying like kind of hits on it. It's like
I heard that
after you drop out of Call of Duty, it's like where do you go from there? It's like after you've bottom out of I'm tired of like running around and shooting people with guns all the time. I just want to co-op it and
Well,
have fun stuff to do.
I guess
It's like,
I feel like there were other factors for me with Call of Duty. I mean, it's just unpleasant to play. I don't, that part I think overshadowed however fun the mechanics may have been. It just got totally overshadowed by how many people were always complaining about the mechanics for some reason or another. And then,
it's like
yeah,
the other
like,
team's terrible.
I told the story.
They're
I jumped in
jerks.
after a
Our
few
team is
months. And I was
terrible.
like,
Oh, you're all terrible.
yeah, the first thing I heard was
Oh.
our team berating our team. It was like, oh, great. Oh, that's right. I remember. And Destiny has none of that. And, I'm still really just impressed by the scoring system and mechanics that they put together for that. It's like, oh,
Yeah, I think that was a really smart thing they did.
Game
Like,
is so good.
You can only hear people that you're friends with.
yeah.
That, made
That
it so
that
much
makes
less of a
so
toxic
much
environment.
difference. And it doesn't feel like just Call of Duty feels really pointless. In the modes that people want to play, they feel really pointless. And I think it's just because it's too fast, maybe. So unless you're playing at a really high level, and that means you're reacting really quickly, faster than other people, you're thinking, like, that's the time when you can finally think of strategy and think of, okay, what am I going to do, and plan that out. But if you're not playing at that level, it is just this insane rat race. Like, essentially everyone is running in a circle around the map, and whoever runs faster catches up to the person in front of them and then is able to shoot them in the back. And that's what happens a lot. Like, you get shot in the back a lot in Call of Duty. And Destiny, I think the pace is a lot, not necessarily a lot slower, but it's a slower pace game, I think. And so it does feel more tactical because I think more people can react at that level, and they feel like, okay, I understand. Like, if I do this now, then like you can see your own options
I think you're.
when there's a little bit of time to consider.
Especially in PV, because like we have Vault of Glass basically on lockdown at this point. it's so ridiculous. We could get flawless radar if we just make it past the jumping. It's like, oh,
One
Man,
day, guys. One
I'm
day.
always thinking of like, or like when I switch to Voidwalker anyway, and we're doing normal, I'm like, okay, well when the Minotaur comes out, I'll just super him, and if I don't have my super, I'll pull out my corrective measure, and then if it's just goblins, I'll just keep using my Vision Confluence. And if hobgoblins pop out, either Tropical will get them, or I'll pull out my Icebreaker, and then that's just what I roll with until we get to Oracles.
there there are some times when me and Tekken on the right side, it's just like, well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
There was one time I think you said that you didn't have the sound on or something. That time was way harder actually,
Oh yeah, I
because
think
usually
yeah. I had my
I will
headset
look
set
around.
to record the audio from the stream since that's what I didn't have this week and there's no sound in it. I could hear
But it was
everything.
like usually I'm really good at just getting all the hobgoblins before they can do anything. And then during the Oracle segment, so I'm really good at getting those. And then while they're down, I can help out with the goblins that are usually coming at you, and the Minotaur when it shows up. And then usually I'll just sort of look around and I'll see the oracles, and you'll just be on top of all of them. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic! Like we didn't even plan this out, and yet it always works. Like you got all the oracles locked down, I got all the hobgoblins locked down, and together we have everything else locked down. It's just like it's perfect. But then that one time you didn't have your sound on or something, and you're like, yeah, I can't tell when the oracles show up. It was way harder. I was looking around, I was like, uh-oh, Tekken didn't get that oracle, so I have to start shooting that one. And your weapons like seem to kill them faster than mine do, so I'm just shooting tons of bullets into it, and it's just not dying. But
Well,
yeah,
unlike
when
some
you have your
people here
sound
at
on,
RPG, I didn't just dismantle my Bottle Glass weapons, just there.
I didn't dismantle any of my fault. I accidentally dismantled that one Vision of Confluence, and I already have like 12 of them, so it's okay.
Oh, I thought you said you got rid of all your Bottle Glass stuff. Sure, I was like, Tekken, you don't need the boots.
I got rid of my armor.
Oh,
I didn't get rid
well,
of my weapons.
I'm a very bitter person, so that's not gonna be happening.
I have a ton of the armor right now. Although I actually haven't picked up. I've only picked up one pair of the boots ever. I have maybe 7 of the gauntlets.
That is like, and that's the other weird thing is
6
like
of
I've
the
gotten like
helmets.
2 Mythoclass and not the boots. It's like whatever.
Wow.
'Cause I got it that one week, and I was like, oh, I already had
I think
those.
I've only gotten 2 exotics from the Vault of Glass, Thunderlord and Hawkmoon, and I think Vision of Confluence and Atheon's Epilogue are the only like rare or legendary weapons I've gotten.
I've gotten like tons of found verdicts and predicts.
Oh wait, that's right, Found
Just-
Verdict, the one that they give away like candy.
Yeah, they're just like, it's like, here, everyone gets a shotgun. It's like, I don't need this. Stop giving it to me. It's kind of ridiculous.
At least in the new raid, it seems to be better as far as the loot. And they did say they were trying to fix that, so.
Oh
blame
man,
them.
the end of our Crota run. that
Oh
was
man, the
awesome.
enrage! Yeah, that was crazy. it's like
Because I got
Yeah.
up and I was running towards the door, and this was like on the last. Crota just had some health, a little bit of health left, and I was like, "Yeah, this run is gonna be it." And I ran into
the
exploding
yeah.
thrall, and I was like, "Oh no!" And I saw the the oversoul go up, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" Like Gamer, he can't help because he does like 66 per shot, and Zafra already has the sword, and so it's just like 3 guys shooting at the
unloaded.
oversoul. I was like, "Come
I
on,
just
come
don't
on!"
know my
come on."
Galahorn at him, though, so I'm just like, yeah. We have to take him down. The Oversoul's going to keep popping up now anyway because he's in enrage. So I'm just like, I'll just shoot every missile I have. He'll go down
No,
eventually.
this was like right before that. So because I went down, like that's why there was the first oversoul, and somehow you guys got it like right in the nick of time
My Galahorn.
on my screen. It's like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And then you're trying to get the sword again for the second run.
And he started moving
And,
over. It's like, oh my
um,
gosh.
Yeah, he went to the right. I was like, oh no. I was like, Zafra's, we'll just get him there. And he started jumping up. And I was ready to be revived, but no one was reviving me. I was like, revive me! I have rockets.
Didn't have
And
time.
Paranoid came
tropical.
over and he got me, and I fired one rocket right as he went into his enrage mode, and it was just like oversoul time. And you guys all fired on him. It's like, oh, he's down. It's like, oh my gosh, we got him. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I gotta say,
very exciting.
I do enjoy the dynamic of the only one person can damage Crota in the Crota effects. The tension is just like, even after doing it so many times, it still gets me. I'm just like, "Ugh," it's like a ball of nerves. It's just,
We can tell. It's like constantly panicking over everything. So, like, oh my gosh, calm
I
down.
should just call it Microsoft mode. I'm sure that's what they do. Yeah.
Sheesh.
It's like, oh my
It
god,
was
no,
amazing.
no. Like the smallest mistake. Ugh, ugh.
So I'm interested to see how the raids are going to go with my other friends. Because so it's three of us. Like that's one of the reasons I chose Destiny 2. We used to play four players in zombies in Call of Duty, and then one guy got married, and the guy that we got, or I don't know why he stopped playing games when he got married. Because I got married and I'm still playing games. But then, so he stopped playing, and we got another guy, but he just wasn't as good, and so he didn't play as much. And then, so Destiny is like, oh yeah, it's built around fire teams of three, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And then, months later, it's like, oh, I played the raid with you guys the first time. It's like, whoa, we are gonna need more people.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
The raids are so good. They still feel like pieced together to me, but that's what like the Crota one more so even than Vault of Glass. Vault of Glass at least is one continuous environment, even though it just feels like there's platforms floating out in the middle of space and you just jump down onto them. But Crota's has a whole bunch of times where you're just running and then it loads into another place.
Yeah, there's a lot of random teleporting and stuff going on in that raid.
Not as cohesive.
Space magic.
Yes, it's all space magic. I don't know. Anything else with Destiny?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
It's funny because I keep trying to cut
What,
back on the amount of time playing, but I don't know why I can't. I'm trying to get like to just Tuesdays, but it's like I gotta do dailies for some reason, even though I have enough shards and energy. It's like I gotta get XP for my weapons I'm leveling. I don't know. It must be a problem. I guess I just can't stop.
We can have an intervention for you if you want.
It's okay, Reggie. It's okay. If the Destiny or like if things come to pass, it's like I think they will, and next expansion comes out and it's just more of the same, then I will just be like, well, abandon ship.
That's sad.
Until the next expansion.
Since
I can just buy all the gear with my marks.
The leaked documents.
I haven't seen it, but I heard about them.
Yeah,
the comet
apparently.
Thing, or?
Yeah, it's like or someone's calling it comment. I'm thinking that maybe at the end of this is when we get sort of more story on the grand scale. Like right now, the expansions are sort of small stuff. Like this thing with Crota, it doesn't feel quite as grand as the main campaign did, even though the main campaign's grand story is just like the beginning of whatever this grand story is supposed to be. And the Crota thing just seems like a side story. And I think the next one, something about wolves.
House of Wolves.
The House of Wolves.
Yeah, I think it'll also be sort of a side story thing.
I did enjoy the Urn quest though. That was pretty cool.
That one was fun.
More like that would be awesome.
Yes.
Then it really would feel like an MMO.
Are the exotic quests like that though?
Yeah. Except they don't end in like a mission.
Oh, okay.
Just in with you like turning in whatever special item you came up.
That's what made the Urn one cool. It's like, oh, it's a mission I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
With the giant encounter room with fire everywhere. And hive enemies up the wazoo. Even though the reward for, every character was the same. Whatever, gauntlets. I already had them, so I was kind of disappointed. But whatever, Hopefully in the future it'll be better.
Oh, that's right. I had bought the gauntlets just before I did that one. I was like, oh. Though they do look better. I am sort of disappointed. Like I think I looked at the stats and I just bought the gauntlets, and then I noticed that it has like ghillie suit camo on the shoulder. I was like, that looks really weird and not good.
It's so out of place.
Like, I'm all about style. Yeah, like most of the time I walk around wearing all the Iron Banner stuff I have because I don't like any of what the raid stuff looks like.
I know it does look. Ugh, it looks like
Yeah,
chewed
the
on
Vex one is
almost.
all like weird and yeah, the new one is all chewed on. It's like Abercrombie clothes. Like, why is this pre-worn?
Yeah.
It's got holes and stuff in it. All right, enough on Destiny. Who else? Who else has been playing what?
I have like one more game because I haven't been playing much besides Destiny because reasons. But let's see.
Possibly problem.
I can't stop. I can't stop. But Final Fantasy VIII Rhythm, Curtain Call. Oh yeah, like it is basically Borderlands 2 syndrome where everything is better and improved. Like more songs, more stages, all the backgrounds seem like they're more detailed. More characters to unlock, and the unlocking system is better because at the end of well, you get this mode called quest mode or something, or medley mode, and you can do basically it's like an overmap, and you have a ton of songs, and you get like you get to choose your path through them, and there's different boss encounters that you get to go through, and then if you clear all the bosses, you get an item from them, and then at the end you get shards, but basically you get a certain amount of shards, you unlock certain characters, and it's cool because it has a cap of rhythmia that's higher than 10,000. Last time it was like 99.99. So this time you get to 10,000, it unlocks this like cool little Final Fantasy Arrangement song I haven't played yet. But then you get to 20,000 and you unlock Chaos, who is like the enemy of Cosmos, who's like, Chaos and Cosmos of like the Dissidia thing. But I think they're like having that theme in this game as well, where it's like, Chaos is good and then Chaos is disorder. So it's like, they're constantly at odds. So therefore, the the light and dark characters of Final Fantasy come in, and it's like it's pretty much like a good idea to like excuse plot any Final Fantasy spin-off game with Final Fantasy characters, and that's basically what they've done here. And it's cool because like when you finish the 20,000 one, it's like a boss fight song. You have to fight them in, and then you get it. And if you win, I don't know if it happens if you lose because I won. You unlock him as a character, but I haven't used him yet, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, there's just like a ton to unlock, and the songs are all awesome, and I've just been enjoying the crap out of it, and I forget how awesome it was, and it really makes me want to. Why can't there be an Elite Beat Agents game? Whatever. Just like the whole like the complete absence of like music rhythm games after Guitar Hero. Man, they just like died off. It's like nobody wanted to make them anymore.
That
But
is weird.
at least Amplitude's coming back soon. So and I kickstarted it, so I'll be getting my copy. But yeah, what the f.
Have you played uh Rhythm Thief?
Nope.
Hmm.
I wanted to, but I didn't. And then yeah, but yeah, Curtain Call, really good, really good. Oh, and then like the ending credit song is awesome, and like the animation is cool because it has like all the characters in like the sprite style, and yeah. But it's crazy because it has like I don't say every game, but it has like all the main games, and then like a bunch of the spin-offs. It has like all the 13 games, like 13, 13.2, and 13.3, and then like Chocobo Dungeon, and then Crystal Chronicles, and some other stuff. I'm like, wow, there's like so many Final Fantasy games in here, and just such a giant
Wow.
volume of or body of work of Final Fantasy music. So yeah, if you're craving some rhythm music game, Final Fantasy music, yeah, this one is it. So I did not get to play it last year, but if I would have, I probably would have gave it a Golden Crosshair. So honorable mention for the rhythm Final Fantasy. It's totally awesome. And I think that's what I've been playing because it's been basically Destiny all the time and stuff.
I'm sorry.
So am I. So am I. I'm supposed to be playing Witcher, but I haven't worked out my. I don't know how I was able. I was like trying to think of like how was I able to play Shadow of Mordor and then Far Cry and then somehow like not lose pace in Destiny. I was like, how did I do that? Because I'm having trouble doing that again. But I'll fix it. I'll be back. I'll play more stuff in Destiny because it happened before. It'll happen again.
Will it? Will it?
I'm trying to get to my where I just play on Tuesdays, and then that's my release for Destiny. It's Tuesdays, and every other day I can play something else. because that's the way I got to do this to get this my backlog. And 2015 is your video game, so it's like I can't just be stuck on Destiny all year because that's not going to happen.
Buy everything.
When does that start for you?
Dude, tropical. I don't know,
this
man.
week?
I'm
Is it
thinking,
next week?
I'm thinking of. I don't know. I don't even know tropical. I think there's other stuff probably
He
like
doesn't
out
even
already
know.
or coming out like this month. 'Cause I know there's that episodic game from Square Enix, and then there's also the Resident
Oh yeah,
Evil
Life is Strange.
remaster. I'm gonna go ahead and get. I don't care, whatever. So I can just stream me getting freaked out by everything. So it's gonna be hilarious. And
Never
That game is
understood why
really
you play
hard.
those games, considering you're like afraid of everything.
because after I played Resident Evil 2, I was like, dude, this game is like, I felt such a connection to the character. Like, Leon S. Kennedy is like one of my favorite, like, he's my favorite Resident Evil dude because it's like, we went through things in that game and I made it. And we made it. I think I was going to make it. And I was like so freaking out and like scared and whatever. But I was like, I did it. I did it. Yes. Ada Wong. I love you forever. And yeah, it's just like the whole thing of like me and the connection to that game or whatever. So hopefully if I get that game and like, Capcom was like, we should do a remaster of Resident Evil 2. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah.
He didn't fare so well in the movie.
And like it's and like no more Capcom
Nope.
Mega Man stuff, and I can like no longer be boycotting them this year and buy all the games like DMC Remaster, which also comes out soon. So yeah,
Too bad I already played the DMC. Otherwise, I totally would
Game
have
is
bought it.
great.
I enjoyed it.
share button. That's my new excuse. I don't care.
That's your new excuse.
It's like even already. I have it like free on Plus, and I think I got it on Steam for cheap. It's like whatever, dude. PS4 share button. Yes.
It's a really fun game. The people who were just complaining about the fact that he didn't look like old Dante are stupid. You're all stupid.
When it comes to DMC4, which I never played as well, I didn't have trophies on the PS3.
Actually,
version, so
I don't
picked
think
it
it comes with it.
I think
What?
that's a separate game.
Yeah, I think it's a separate game.
Oh.
They just announced them at the same time.
up. Oh well, that'll be happening too then. Don't be shy.
It's not bad. It's not great.
They're all
so.
pretty. Yeah,
Well, 2
I
is
think, like,
terrible. So
3 was super awesome and really hard, and then DMC is like the one that I actually finished.
Yeah, like the first one is
I-
one of the first PS2 games I played, and I was like, wow, that was awesome. But I didn't play 2 because
Yeah.
of the crappy reviews, and then 3 I didn't get to play it until a long time after it was out, because there's like a special edition, because people were like, oh, well, they had to do other stuff, or there's like some bug or something weird, whatever.
well, they ended up re-releasing the trilogy though. It's like a set, so
That happened too, and I think I bought it digitally on PS3, so...
I kept almost buying it whenever I go to GameStop because I'll see it. I was like, but there's like Devil May Cry 2 is in it, so it's like a waste of a buy for one of those. But I did like 3. I was like, I don't know. So I don't know. I never bought it. I always get like close to buying it. I'll pick it up and I'm like, no. But one day I'll probably end up-
I would say Devil May Cry comes very close to like matching, if not surpassing, Metal Gear Solid in just like the ridiculous cinematics of like that was awesome. Let me see
I
it
think
again.
it's just so over the top with everything.
I know, it's so over 9,000, and it's just like that was so cool. Dante, you're awesome.
It's a pretty fun series for the most part. So, yeah.
And that's all I've been playing. So yeah.
Is that all you've been playing?
Yep.
Are you sure?
I might even play Final Fantasy 10 remaster, but whatever. I played a bit of. Well, I didn't really play Mass Effect. I popped it in and see where I was at, but that might be happening too. So just.
Oh
before
no!
I got bits.
It's gonna
I was
be
like,
Mass Effect again. No, buy
It's hard to clear
games.
backlog when you have games that you're just like, when you see them, it's like, oh, I want that
See,
again.
Tropical, that happened to me because I bought. They had Ground Zeroes on sale for like $8 or whatever, and I was like,
Oh.
dude. But then after I bought it, I was like, Metal Gear Solid 5's coming out. I kind of want to play through all of them again for no reason, just because I love
think
that
it was-
series.
Yeah, it was on sale, and I almost bought it too because I was like, I should, because I
was
mean, I'm probably gonna pick up 5 anyway.
And I was
So
like, well, I don't have a playthrough on my YouTube channel, so it's a perfect excuse to play through it again. So, and there's like 4 of them, before the 5th one. So, and I could play through them all before that one comes out, because I'm sure it doesn't come out anytime soon.
It might come out this year, maybe. We'll find out on E3, maybe.
Yeah,
The
all that
annual
stuff, like
Phantom
if
Pain
everything
trailer.
we think is gonna come out this year comes out this year, it will. There's too much.
Dude, Tropical, it is like
It's already
it
too
will
much.
be surpassing 1998 of like the best year ever for video games.
Mm.
It's like Final Fantasy 15, Metal Gear Solid 5. What?
Well,
Well,
15 is not coming out anytime soon. But
hey, I
like,
really believe. And then like if they can somehow manage that in Kingdom Hearts 3, like they said, that would be like.
That'd be
I
ridiculous.
And
don't see
then the
that happening.
Division, more Destiny stuff, uh, Witcher 3, Batman in the summer. Oh my gosh, time to play it. Yes.
Because I think like after the
Uncharted
Nintendo
4.
Direct, I'm like already up to like 7 games for February and March, so it's like ridiculousness.
Did you get the new release this week? The like Atelier or something, something, something. One of that series.
Something. Oh, you're talking about the Alchemist game thing?
Yeah.
No, I only played like a couple of them because I get they're kind of they get really repetitive and boring like after a certain
Mm.
point, so I usually don't play them.
So
Because
when's your first game for this year then?
uh, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate comes out on the 13th of
Oh
February.
man,
Okay.
that Nintendo Direct. We were totally talking about that because that is like throwing wrenches into my plans. It's like I can't spend money on any Nintendo. Stop it! Stop it! No, no.
And then it just
We'll get
doesn't
to
stop from
that.
there. So
It's like it's like it's such torture because it's like all third party games I want to play are not on Wii U, but then their first party stuff is like, but then it's also like I feel because it's like just they're just derivative of all the stuff that's come before, but it's like I still want to play it because I know it's gonna be awesome. So it's like, Nintendo, baby, come back. Yeah,
just like that.
yep, just like that.
Yeah, they did like announce a lot of stuff, and I was like, because there's some stuff I didn't even know was actually in development.
I
They
had to like
announced
look
something
at it
like
and try to like I had to like try to like rationalize in my mind and my brain of like no Tekken no because on PS4 there's something better than this like I can just put like a greater than sign of like Final Fantasy 14 is greater than Xenoblade Chronicles, you don't need it, or The Witcher 3 is greater than
that game.
that game, you don't need to play it, you don't need to play Tekken, just let it go, man, just let it go, just let it go. And then they didn't say anything about Star Fox and Zelda, but they're gonna have it at 3 and it's just gonna
Well, it's
break
gonna
me
be
and
at
it's like
it's gonna be at E3, so
I think I just gotta like hold down to like a price point of like I'm not buying it until this, or there's a crazy bundle at the end of the year, and then I'll be good. Because if I don't do that, bad things might happen.
oh my.
And that's not even talking about the amiibos that I need to get to unlock everything. No, no. Okay, someone else go.
Let's say we can touch on all that later
Why Nintendo? I was starting
because
to
they
love your
love your
game.
money and they made like $3 billion this holiday season on Amiibo, so they're probably like, yeah, we're gonna keep doing this because money factory.
And then I was like, please, please, for the love of everything that is just and right in the universe, Sony and Microsoft, do not follow them on this path like you did with motion
It's
controls.
happening.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's
Well,
like
thankfully they don't
DLC
have
is worse off.
they don't
We
have the
don't need
roster to
amiibo
pull
load
it off,
content.
so we'll be okay.
I don't think it makes as much sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that
wouldn't
is
have
true.
this. It's not the same.
But then they showed the flight
That-
charts of like
I'm-
these games. This is what each amiibo figure does in each game. I was like, then no.
I'm pretty sure that would collapse the entire market. Like when Disney Infinity came out and Skylanders was still okay, it's like, okay, it can support 2. And then when Nintendo came out, I was like, yeah, it looks like it can support 3. But if suddenly it's just like the Sony, what are they going to be called? Action figures or whatever. Microsoft real avatars. I don't know. It's like, well, implosion.
Just like motion controls.
And then on like the bonus round, Michael Pachter was like all the toy manufacturers should get in on this to try to like have figurines
Like
put
Transformers
into
and
their,
stuff.
put
Yeah.
into their games of the same
I
properties.
think, yeah.
That would probably.
Implosion. It's going to happen.
I don't know, Chapter 12. I think the game. I mean, I think the toy manufacturer thing works, but I don't think Microsoft and Sony would work because it's like, Transformers. They're Transformers.
Well, so I think that would be the point, though, or not the point. I don't know what I'm going with that. They would still have to be Transformers toys. They can't just be these statues.
Okay, yeah.
Then I think it would be okay. But right now, if everyone's just making these little plastic statues, then there's at some point it's like, no. There will be the collectors, and everyone else is. I'm done. Everyone else is done. And that's it. That's the end.
I hope it collapses because I don't want to I'm trying
Oh
not to.
my.
Yeah, I'm so tempted, but it's like no, no. I got. It's like yeah. You can't even hear the voice in my head, but it's telling me no. So yeah, all the time.
Do it. Buy them all.
And then like they showed like the Mario set of like all the Mario characters. It's like, oh, this is gonna happen with Star Fox. This is it. There's gonna be a Falco and a Peppy and a Slippy and Fox and
Yes. You're welcome. Said
must
Nintendo.
not break. Must not. Oh,
Buy them.
why Nintendo? Why?
Because they want your money. Duh.
And I haven't even
I just they released
tried
just
out
like different
my
forms of
Skylander
them.
or my whatchamacallit thingy. Disney Infinity for PS3 yet.
Oh, you have it?
I got the PS3 bundle. It was like 160. I was like, dude, I need another PS3. I didn't have a choice RPG. Like that was the cheapest bundle.
Well, I mean, you had
or
a
the
choice.
cheapest
You-
or the cheapest. You know, I needed one now so I could replace my digital one, so I can put this 2 terabyte drive in here and re-download all my games and play them. Even though we all know I won't, because that's how backlogs works. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about what we have been playing. Let's talk about what we have been playing. So, who's been playing something? Magical segue of awesomeness.
Segues are terrible, but yeah, I don't think I've been playing all that much in the break. I've been more like dabbling ever so often when I get bored because I'm more like I think because I'm like so excited for all the new stuff that's coming out soon that I'm like I'm having trouble playing
I had
stuff.
that happen too.
That
I'll
makes
just sit
sense.
at my menu screen of like all these games on my PS4. I could play them, but I don't.
Yeah, so I like
And
I
I'll
end up
scroll
in,
through them, but I won't
yeah,
play
it's like I end up in Netflix and Hulu a lot because I'm like I don't feel like playing anything that's not new now. So yeah, I end up just not playing stuff a lot of times because it's like, well, February comes and it's just gonna be at least a game week every week.
Oh man, the order
So
comes out in February too.
I'm like gonna have like I'm not gonna be able to play any of all these games. It's like it's too much. It's too much. Like several of them are coming out at the same exact time. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's like I can't even I don't know. I don't know. But well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, I played like Tales of Hearts R a little bit. I just finished up like one of the, or I didn't really finish it up. It's like there's like more shenanigans going on, and like the lady that like enslaved us decided to join our party now, so she's like traveling around with us to make sure no more stuff goes on and all that stuff. So we're like, yay, new team member, but she's kind of mean. So, but it's okay though. It's all in good fun. So, other than that, I picked up the Swapper because it's free. So I was like,
Because it's
hey, free game, gonna play it. So it happened. I don't know how long it is or anything, so I don't know how far I am. But I've only like played a few of the puzzles. I kind of like the idea of the like teleporting puzzle things and stuff, but it's kind of yeah. It has like a weird atmosphere to it, kind of. So I don't really know what's going on so much as it's just like I'm kind of just running through and doing these puzzles and listening to like the weird voiceover things that go on because I don't know I don't think the main character talks or if he does I'm confusing him with the announcer voice. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know if there's like a bunch of different powers or anything, but so far I only got like the teleport and the clone and the swapper power thingy, and so it's like used for like short range teleporting and stuff like that. So it's yeah, yeah, stuff and things. Also, I got Infamous First Light because that was also free because free stuff, guys. So it's just gonna be my thing for everything. It's like, well, it's free, so it's happening. But that Infamous First Light
RPG,
is
aren't
like,
you glad you re-upped? Yeah.
I mean, I was always planning to. I wasn't planning to not like resubscribe. I was just like waiting until the beginning of the year to do it. So, but yeah, it's just like that game. That game is just, or the DLC, I should say. The DLC is like really good. It's kind of sad though because it's like. You kind of know how it's gonna end, so it's like
If you
all
played Second Son, you do, but I didn't.
yeah, Because well, that's the thing too. Because it's like it's a prequel thing. So like while I'm playing, I'm like, it's like one of those. It's like it's so touching, but at the same time, it's like, "Urgh, I already know it's gonna happen. So this is not good thing. Because like poor Fetch, poor Fetch. I just felt so sad because it's like she was going through all this to save her brother and like fighting through all these drug dealers and stuff and talking about all her memories with him and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is not, oh man, why Infamous, why? So yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, especially once I got to the end, I was like, yeah, I kind of knew. Especially once I found out how it all happened, it was meant all the sadder. I was like, oh, this is awful. This is just awful. But yeah, I really enjoyed it though, because like the neon powers are like my favorite ones from Second Son. So it was nice to get like I guess more like a infinite version of them, kind of, since it was like her powers originally. So that was kind of cool. Especially since you get the infinite light speed run from the get go instead of having to go through the upgrade thing, which was like, yeah, that was a pain because it was like seeing her do it when you're like chasing her down in the mission, the story missions, and it's like, why can't I do this? So it was cool to just have it from the get go, and then like her super run version of it too. So it was kind of great. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the story and the characters and stuff. But like I said, it was sad because I had played Second Son beforehand, so I kind of knew that it was not going to end well. So yeah, I'm sorry, Fetch. I'm sorry. So, but I don't know if it's like tied. Is it? I don't know if it's tied to the main game or not because I noticed like the streets are like really clear in the DLC. There's not like a bunch of enemies and stuff roaming around. So I didn't know if it was like tied to the fact that I had already like cleared out a lot of the cities in Second Son before I started playing or not. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't think so because I had it and it was still pretty
it was still
kind of
pretty.
empty.
Oh, okay. Because I know when I was playing through, I was like, wait, is there's like nobody here because I cleared it, or but yeah, but that wouldn't make sense, I guess, because it's a prequel, so technically they would not
Mm,
have been defeated yet. So yeah.
yeah, I think at the beginning of Second Son they talk about how the DUP sort of recently moved in and set up shop.
Oh,
So they weren't quite as developed yet during the time of First Light.
I see. Yeah, I think I kind of like Fetch more than I like Delson though now. So yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. But yeah, it was fun, and I tried to start like doing like I did like all the skill point stuff before I actually did the story missions, but then I never spent them on anything, which didn't make sense. So it's like I had like a bunch of skill points, but never upgraded my powers until like really late. So I was like, oh, okay, because I guess I was trying to make sure that I'd have enough or to check and see what other powers there were before I did it. So I was like, should I spend these? Should I just wait? So yeah, that happened, and I ended up just like saving them for no reason, and then I just spent them all at once and upgraded a bunch of powers and stuff. But yeah, that was yeah. So now I'm just trying to beat like Tropical and Gamer Score in the arena because they have high scores, but I have to like go through all the upgrading as I mentioned. I like the that control power thing where you like hit people in their
After you shoot their weak points.
yeah, and they become like
Yeah.
I was like that's kind of awesome. I don't know how
Super
it
useful.
works exactly because why would that be a thing? But I was like, I'll just go with it. It's fine. I'm sure it makes
Perhaps that's
sense
why people go to Las Vegas.
because of the neon sign. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, because I was like, this the power doesn't really make sense when you think about it, but it's like I'm just gonna suspend my disbelief and just go with it because why bother trying to explain it? So I enjoyed that power. So I'm thinking like it'd probably be useful in the battle arena because I haven't like done the arena since I've upgraded my powers yet. So I might be doing that soon to do it. But yeah, I enjoyed that DLC. It was pretty great. So yeah. I don't know if they have other stuff coming down the line or if that was like a one-time thing, but maybe. for Eugene, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Other than that, what else have I been playing? I forgot.
Walking Dead season two.
Oh right,
To Keaton.
I played. Oh yeah, I've been playing Tokenen again because Dagger picked it up, and so we're probably gonna eventually play together eventually. But she's like a terrible like hunting buddy, so I don't know. I can't trust her anymore. She's just awful.
She's a
Just
scorpion,
awful.
just like your RPG.
She's
Oh, we completely forgot to tell that story. Whatever.
Oh yeah, that was funny. And it's funny because like when I saw them talking about it on the show, I was watching. I was like, wait, it is a thing. And it's just funny that they just happened to mention it and like right after you had talked about it the day before. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a crazy coincidence. So, but it was kind of funny. Yeah, that was amusing. But yeah, she's like, we'll like make plans to play stuff, and then she'll like flake at the last second or something. I was like, ah, you're terrible. And then she's like always playing it, I guess, on the way to work or something. So. Yeah, we usually have issues, but yeah, that's the thing. Hopefully, that won't be an issue when Monster Hunter comes out because I know she'll be playing that a lot anyway. So she'll probably be online all the time. So we should be good when that comes out. So we're just hoping. But yeah. I just pretty much been going through the story stuff and like upgrading my weapons and everything. So that's been happening. And the last thing I've been playing is The Walking Dead season 2, which I played over the holiday break because it was like on sale. It just sucks that like none of my stuff was able to carry over because I picked it up on the PS4 and not the PS3, and I didn't know if it carried over or not at first. And I was like, yeah, it's not on sale on the PS3, so I just ended up getting on the PS4 anyway and just like hope for the best for the narrator. I was like, maybe it'll do it. Although he did kill the brothers though, like I did. So I was like, well, this worked out fine. That's the only decision that really mattered. So it's okay. So yeah. It all worked out. I think, as a matter of fact, I think the only thing that was different was that they brought Lily along in the one they generated for me, and that's the only decision that was different because I did leave her on the side of the road. But everything else seemed like when they were doing like the previously on, it seemed like it was the same for everything I chose. I was like, well, that's lucky. So it all worked out. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the season 2 because it's like there are things. There were like things that were happening, and I was like,
Did you
I
feel at
don't
the
know.
end of season 2 when you go to that place like it was kind of random, of like you didn't know what was going on? 'Cause that's how I felt. I was like, it didn't
I
feel
kind of
like there was like really an overarching like I was like, where's this taking us?
Yeah, I think that's how I felt about like the entire season because like
Yeah.
it just kind of felt like everything was just like randomly happening, and it's like I don't know what choices to make because it doesn't seem like anything is making sense. It's just like everything is just happening.
That's why
So it's like,
I like
you know,
season 1 better because it's like, it felt like more of a journey, where season 2 just feels like you're trying to survive, like I always say. It's just like, yeah, I'm not in control and stuff's just happening.
yeah, because like even times where I'm like trying to, because there'll be like there were like certain situations where like I would do something thinking that okay, well obviously I want to change this, but then it's just like the story's like nope, this is happening whether you like it or not. And I was like okay game, I'll go because like with the like when the one guy came to the house like the carver guy or whatever, and how I guess he comes in regardless of what you do because I was like I feel like I could have just closed the door and locked it or whatever or all the stuff that's going on or just like I guess like grab the knife and all this stuff. And it's just like there's just moments where I'm just like some of these just seem like bad ideas and like things that shouldn't be happening, but they are anyway, and I have no control over it. And it's just like the game is just not gonna let me do anything about this because it just wants a bunch of stuff to happen whether I like it or not. So I was like, I don't a lot of the time I just didn't feel like I was really in control of anything, even with my choices, because a lot of times it just seemed like the outcome was still the same. And then when the ending came, it was like when people were getting different, like you got, or well, you Tekken got like a different ending anyway. And I was just like, well, this doesn't seem like there was anything leading up to this. It just, happened.
See, to me, it's like I think in that final section of the final episode, it's like you think things are going to be cool because it's like, okay, well, this is what we have at the end. But then, since I wasn't like following Telltale, obviously it wasn't spoiled for me that they're tweeting out, "Oh, you got to make a choice at the end, whatever." So I was like, okay, things are cool. But then it's like things just continue to escalate and escalate. I'm like, oh, is it not
'Cause I
gonna be
even
cool? Is it not gonna be cool? And then it's like, it's not cool. Yeah, it
and
just
I
yeah.
and I even feel like the character they, the one who ended up getting introduced, I feel like it's almost like that was forced too, because I feel like he shouldn't have survived the first season because the situation was pretty
Yeah.
dire. Like,
And he
so
never
when they,
really, well, like in my discussion, like, or I guess didn't sit by him to talk at the table, so I don't like, I didn't like, I get to like, straight up ask him like, how did you survive that, like that outcome? Like, I feel like it's never really explained, like, how did he get out of that situation?
even when you ask him, it's not really like full on explained.
But that
Because
was the
like he
thing.
kind of
Like
like skirts around. He's like, "Well, I just got lucky." It's like, what do you mean you just got lucky? You shouldn't have survived that. I saw you in that situation. You could not have been alive. So I felt like when I think they more introduced him for a source of conflict, because he's always been a hothead, and this is one of the reasons why I was okay with him dying in the first season, because it's like everything was just gonna just go terribly as long as he was around, and I'm like, you gotta calm down,
He
dude.
was my bro, RPG.
Like,
He was my
what
bro.
I was like, you
yeah,
really gotta calm down because you are kind of insane right now. And I saw the wheels falling off as more and more time we were spending with him. I was like, this is gonna go terribly. I know it. I can see it happening. I know it's gonna happen, and there's nothing I can do to stop it, is there? And of course, it happened, and I had to do something. And I was like,
Well, I think
well,
that's another reason they did that though, is because like there's some stuff he says where it's like, remember the last time we had a car and we had the chance to get out of here and we didn't? Remember what happened then? It's like, oh, he has a good point.
I don't
It's like
know. I just
we
feel
don't always
like.
have time to just like sit around and talk diplomatically about what our next choice is going to
But
be.
it's like everything with him is just like ridiculous because it's like even like the situation. I think it was the end of episode three, maybe with his was that the end of episode three with his
Yeah,
girlfriend
that is.
situation, and he was all like getting all my kids. I'm like, dude, I was trying to help, and either like what the hell? She was like pretty much like zombie chow. I was helping. It's not my fault. She decided to go all banana crazy and like, oh my god. So I was like, what? And I don't know. I just feel like he was just there for conflict, and there was no way it was going to end well, and it did not for him. So, I mean, I just, I feel like Jane shouldn't have done what she did, but at the same time, she proved her point despite nearly getting herself killed over it. But it's just like, I feel like there were just things that just happened just for the sake of, happening and making conflict for no reason. And I don't even know what was going on with that one group of Russians, I'm assuming. I was like, what's even happening here? What is going on here? Are they just here just to be here? Like what is this? So there's just a lot of situations in the game where I was just like I don't understand how or why any of this is
Actually, that's a
happening.
good point. They never really explain like why the random Russians are just in there
yeah.
or like what they're
So
doing,
so yeah, I don't
how
I
they
don't
got
know.
stuck in the U.S. in a zombie
Just like
apocalypse.
so yeah, just like so many random things just like happening. I'm like, what is going on here? Like none of this is explained, and I don't know how or why, and I don't know. I don't know.
In
So
season one, though, I think it was pretty obvious that that guy didn't die.
was it though?
You
Because
know,
it
they did it in such a way. It's like
like I
he
understand that
didn't
they
like
did leave it
there
kind
were
of
many
ambiguous.
gruesome deaths in the game, and it was like there was nothing for that one. It's like, okay, so is this supposed to be really noble? And it's just like he just disappeared, rides off into the sunset, and he was a hero. I was
Yes.
like, no, that's not how it's gonna be. Like, he is going to mysteriously disappear. Everyone's gonna assume he died because, but off-screen deaths don't count in The Walking
I
Dead.
guess that
Yeah.
is true.
That's the
It
only reason
happens a
why.
lot.
That's the only reason why I accepted it at that point, because I was like, well, they didn't show him die, and he is claiming he got like. But the situation he was in, you really do have to kind of like
I mean,
suspend your
yes, it was very
disbelief
dire.
because it was like a horde behind and in front of him, and yeah. I just feel like no normal person would have gotten out of that with only two bullets. They're just like, you should not have gotten out of that. So I don't know. I was kind of like when I first I was like, oh, I already see where this is going because yeah. I tried to be his friend because I was like, okay, maybe I could like calm him down and maybe avoid what they're trying to make happen. I could not, and it happened, and yeah. So we yeah.
I think like the other like the like one of the other things of like why that part at the end happens is like you have to choose like who is a better parental figure for the child,
The sad thing is,
possibly.
I feel like he would have been the better parent because like he seemed like he's one of those people that gets like really attached and like he when he cares about something he cares about
Yeah.
something. So I feel like he would have been actually like a good parent. But the only problem is he's insane. So it's like I mean
Doesn't that disqualify you from being a good parent?
I don't think so necessarily because like he is crazy, but he's crazy because he's like overprotective, like in love crazy. He's not like I'm gonna just like drink gasoline kind of crazy. So
So,
it's like
but then, like, why did you choose the way you chose?
because
We're being vague here intentionally, so.
well yeah, but I say because it's like I don't, I'm trying to get not too. It's like I think I ended up making my decision because like I thought about it for like in the long run. I was like, it's like he may be okay in the short term, but then I'm like, well, how long is it going to be before we do run into like another group and this all happens again? And it's like it's just going to be like a never ending cycle of him being insane until the point where he's going to get us all killed. And I am not dying for anyone, so it's like I'm sorry. So it's like when once it came down to it, I was like, it's him or me, and
Just like the
well.
shirt says, I am the only one we're
Sure.
saving in this zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, so it's like at a certain point I was like, well, while the other person I ended up choosing might kind of be like semi flaky, she did come back, and I feel like she's more dependable in the long run because she seems a bit more stable. So I was like, yeah, it was a little probably not a good idea because you had to know what was going to happen when you did that. So it's like you had to know he was going to go insane. So because I knew exactly what she was doing when she came back and she like had that look on her face when they were like, "Where's the baby?" I was like, "You did not do what I think you just did," and yeah. So yeah, this it just got out of hand, and I knew that was going to happen, and I was like, "Ah, oh, you're killing me. You are killing me because." You pretty much
Well,
caused us.
actually.
Well, yeah, I was saying, it's like, yeah, like not literally this time because you might have just saved us all, but it's like I just yeah it was kind of a hard decision because like I said like over the whole course of the season or once we like met him I was like I kind of had like I had like this nagging feeling because I part of me kind of felt like this was gonna happen eventually because like last season I kind of felt like that was gonna happen anyway and I almost let him die then which it did not take because he is still alive so. Um, yeah, but I was just like yeah, it was. I just think like in the long run, it was probably the safer decision because he's like very easy to provoke, and that is not good when in the apocalypse it's already hard to like trust people and then it's like now you have to worry about him making people trust you even less because now they're worried he's going to snap and start running them over with cars or like killing them in their sleep or something. And it's like, well, I can't have you around, and that's going to be a thing all the time. So I was just like, well, this is this is definitely going to be final this time. So you won't be coming back from this. So yeah.
Huh. It's interesting that all three of us sort of felt that it was, yeah, it's like a bunch of events happening and you're just sort of there to survive. And for me, it was actually near the end. And it was actually, yeah, it was the guy. Like, he actually was the one who gave me the reason to go on. Like, it just seemed like stuff is happening to us and we're just trying to survive. And then, I forget what point it was, but yeah, it happens like, oh, now I feel like I have purpose. You know, there's a reason to do this. Like, there's a reason to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, because it kind of
And
makes some sense in a way. Because it's like, well, obviously, day to day in a zombie apocalypse is probably going to be kind of random. Like, there won't be a cohesive story going on. So, I mean, it kind of made sense in that regard. But at the same time, it was like,
I don't think my life is literary enough. I mean, that, like, what was that? That was just a random thing that meant nothing. Yeah, that's probably true. I'm looking forward to the third one because I think it's gonna be it's gonna be stronger. This one,
it seemed like this season was like a real like setup season.
yeah,
Although now I'm kind of wondering, like, at the same, I think at the same time, it's like, why did they even bother introducing all these people? Because I don't think any of them survived.
It's
So it's like what's the point of this?
It's like at least season
So
one,
it's like,
one person.
That's funny.
Yeah, I didn't
So
think about that
it's like,
or RPG. Yeah, like at the end of season one, you have people that survive from this first season. Season two, if you play your cards right, not so much.
Yeah, it's I was wondering like while I was playing, 'cause I was like, could any of this have played out differently? Because that's why I was curious because how you guys like ended up because I didn't know if there were like a different set of survivors or something, or was I just like doing something wrong? Because I was like, I felt like when I was playing, I was like, no one lived through this. So I was like, how did this even like? What was the point? Like, no one survived. So
That's
I
funny.
so it was kind of like crazy because like even at the beginning, I was like, when like even at like the beginning of the episode, like people were getting picked off, and I was like was it all for nothing? Like, did we just like is this really how the world would be? Like just this terrible place where no one can survive and you can trust no one, so you pretty much are better off on your own, but you need people because everyone's gonna kill you if you're not with them. And it's like how does this work? Like how do I live? Like I don't know. Like what is this game? I don't understand. Like I don't know if I like it because it's so random, but at the same time it makes sense because this is how it probably would be. Like if the world was coming to an end, it wouldn't be something you could just predict happening, or groups of people that you'd run into not being random crazy Russian people.
Actually, that is a good point because in season two, there are two different areas you go to where like two groups have basically really good setups, and it all goes terrible. Like you meet the first group, not so much, and then you get transported to the other place, not so much.
It's just like like
So now I'm
like,
thinking, season three, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm set pretty good, but I'm like, wait a minute, probably not so much.
like are we just doomed? Like is there nothing like left? So it was kind of like it was a really kind of downer ending because it's like, well, it seemed like some stability, but at the same time I thought that was how it was at the beginning of this season, and it just all went to hell. So like I don't know, like I don't know. So it was weird because yeah, because even like certain parts, like there was like that bridge scene where I was like, wait, did I just screw something up? Because I felt like that just went horribly. 'Cause I was like, did I do something wrong? Because I was going to ask you guys if it played out any differently from you guys, but I'm assuming since one of the choices was to tell that other guy the truth about what happened, that it couldn't have changed anything. So I was like, oh, so yeah, that was going to go terribly regardless. So it was just like, oh gosh, why? So. And I felt like that bridge scene.
Oh man, the bridge scene, yeah, that one killed me.
Like I was like, this
like,
could have all been avoided.
Yeah, even that part when like Clementine
so
and Luke are talking after the part, like after like they find out who he really is, and they're like talking to the or not. Or I think it's like before, but they're like, no, it's like when they're talking like they're at dinner and like they're about to get discovered, and like they're like, but it could have been anybody. Or no, I think that's before. I don't remember. But like when they say that line of like, it could have been anybody, and it's like, oh, they just having like some random person. It could have been anybody. It's just like, oh, that's so terrible. It's just like, oh.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like he didn't like immediately shoot us like when we were up there, despite the fact that you can't trust anybody. But at the same time, he didn't like, oh, let me just open fire on these random people on the bridge. So he was trying to talk, and then Trigger Happy over there came down the bridge and started like, oh, I'm just gonna go shoot everybody, and it just it's like, way to go, you. But it was just. Yeah, everything just went terribly. I felt like no good things happened in season 2. So I don't know how to feel about anything because there were no good decisions because nothing good happened. Everything just was terrible because apparently that's how it is. So yeah, happiness is not an option in the apocalypse. So don't try to find it because you won't. So yeah.
I'm really excited to see what season 3 does then, because I guess one way to look at it is that season 1 was sort of Lee's story. So when it starts off, you sort of know who Lee is. You don't know exactly what he's done, but you have some idea. I was like, okay, he was in this situation when we first met him. And later in conversations, you're given lots of opportunities to hide things. And so you Lee is sort of a known character, and then Clementine is more unknown. And So season 1 is sort of Lee's story, but also sort of. And at the time when I was playing it, I thought, oh, this is Lee bringing up Clementine, and that's season 1. And then season 2. At first, I was like, I don't know how to play this. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I think
Clementine
that's
is
the
not
problem,
the person I sort of brought up as Lee in the first one. And then over time I realized, like, well, of course not. Like, I have to play her as if she learned those lessons the way that I taught them. And so season 2 is sort of, I think it's sort of the wiping the slate clean so that, all the characters are gone basically. And
Yes.
Clementine,
Yes, they are.
this is season 2 was your chance to learn who Clementine is. And because they hadn't defined Clementine in the first one, like you defined Clementine in the first one, and so like by season 2, like you really are the one defining her. And that's why season 3, if it turns out the way that we think it's going to turn out, like that's why it's going to start in so many different places, because like it needs that freedom. Like you were the one to bring up Clementine. So that's why season 2, one way to look at it is that maybe that's why season 2 feels so random. It's just here you're presented with all these different types of situations. This is Clementine. Like you are Clementine.
It's like
basically.
you're guiding her.
How are you
through all
going?
these
Yeah,
decisions, and like literally, she does end up where you would have had your say of her ending
Yeah.
up.
So, well, but then it's too early to tell. If season 3 doesn't become like that, then season 2 will look back and just be like, I don't know what was up with that season. It was just,
I don't know what's
it
happening.
was crazy.
I just don't know. Yeah, because
Bold prediction. They have a gold mine right here. Like this is what the guy likes to do. So at some point, Clementine is gonna die.
oh no, but probably because
That's what they do. It's like, oh, here's your favorite character. How do I know that? Because you made that character, and I'm going to kill your character because we're like that.
but the way it's
Seriously,
going now,
like, you look at Telltale's Twitter all the time. It's just like, for Clementine was their hashtag this whole season. It's like, look what you've done. You've given her such a following. Now you can really, hurt people.
they're gonna have their work cut out for them though, because it's like if the story keeps branching off, then they're originally gonna have to write all these branches. So it's like
Want to make people cry? Like now, yeah, you can really do it.
yeah, because I'm curious as to how many endings there were though, because I mean, we got 2 of them.
I think there's
There's at least 3.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah.
and there's like variations on each of them. Because I'm thinking about it now. Like if I would have did what I did, but I would have stuck with someone else at the end, it would have been a completely different situation.
Oh, that's right. So there's at least 4 that we know of.
Interesting.
Because you and I have slightly different ones.
Yeah.
And Tekken has a different one. And he saw potentiality for another one there as well.
Oh, it was such a heartbreaker. It was like, oh, my bro, but you're crazy.
He knew what was going to happen. he brought this upon himself.
It's like, well, season 1, season 2, yeah, the amount of evidence against you is I'm sorry, my friend, but our time is up.
Well, so really vaguely, like, I think they, RPG, you and my ending, like, I think they handled that scene really well. Like after you make the major decision, because they didn't. It wasn't sort of like, what the hell? You shot you? Me? And it was more like, oh yeah, I get it.
It's like you kind of made the right choice. It's like because he's like, yeah, I am kind of crazy.
Oh
you
man,
did the
mine
right
is
thing.
mine is so much more traumatic. Of just like I am permanently scarred for life because it's like I couldn't make a
wow.
choice, and then it's like we're gonna make a choice for you, take it, and it's like not gonna cut away, not gonna do anything, like no warning, just telltale style, just
I, I made the decision, and I mean, when at the end he was just like, "Yeah, you made the right choice." I was like, "I know I did, you
Yeah.
psycho." But
Like that was, I felt that was handled really well. Like, because they could have done it other ways.
yes. So yeah, it was yeah. But yeah, I think yeah, because you chose differently though at after yours though too for your epilogue thing.
Yeah, at the very end, mine was different than yours.
Yeah, because I refuse. I, I can't do this again. I'm
our
sorry.
first trust issues in The Walking Dead from now on.
I
Though it
can't.
does kind of, you do kind of get betrayed, so
Yeah,
I
it's like
kind of do
I
too now.
can't even do this anymore. It's like I can't do it. I'm sorry, guys. I just like I've seen.
Wow, this is gonna be really cool. Actually, if it's the way we think it's gonna be, each of us has a different starting point.
That's true. Because I've already made enemies and I haven't even started the new game yet. So there you go. It's like, but I feel like I made the right decision though, because once he turned around and I was like, I knew it. I knew it. So yeah,
Stranger danger!
yeah.
Stranger danger!
I even pulled the gun out on him at one point. And I was like, "Listen,
Wow.
get the hell away from the gate, guy."
Wow.
I was like, "We're
Wow,
not playing this
RPG.
game anymore." I was like, "I've seen things.
You should have
I've
share
seen
button that.
things."
Been like Stranger danger
Well,
all the
I shared.
time.
I was streaming some of the episodes I was playing.
Oh, that's right. 'Cause you're like, let's see if it all crashes down, and you're like, oh, it did.
It did. So I was like, yeah, but yeah, it was like it was crazy because I was like, because when the choice came up, I was like, yep, I'm pulling out the gun. I don't know you. I don't. I've already we've been through all this. Like nobody I know is alive anymore. You just got to go away, man. This I can't do this anymore. So it was just too much. I was like, just go away, man, just go away. So yeah, I've already made enemies, so this should go well. This should go well. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. So
Alrighty then. Tropical?
Well, so I started looking at my backlog, probably because nothing new is coming out
yet,
until next week. So soon. It's very sad. And I started playing. It baffled me that I had only completed a very small percentage of the trophies in PlayStation All Stars. Like, that's weird. I thought I played this game way more. And I was like, oh, that's right. I played most of it on the Vita. So I've started to go through and clear that. It's still a really fun game. The people who are playing online now are just super good, though.
they haven't.
So
stopped. That's why they're like,
yeah, they're like level in the thousands for their characters, and I'm like around 300 or so for my highest ranked character.
yeah, because I think even my highest rank is like somewhere in that low level area there. I was like, yeah, I'm nowhere near the thousands. So yeah.
I think when people look back on the game, they're going to realize that it was quite good. In the moment when it came out, it was just all about being a Smash Brothers ripoff. Or it was weird. Like half of the people were like, "Oh, it's a Smash Brothers ripoff," and the other half were like, "It's not enough of a Smash Brothers ripoff." Like people really wanted Smash moves and being able to smash people and like send them flying. It's like, why? Like that makes no sense.
It's like you were getting on it for being too similar, and now you're mad because it's not too similar. Like,
Not
make up your
similar
mind,
enough.
people. Make up your
And there
mind.
would, like on the forums, there'd be long essays about why it has to be exactly like Smash. And I was like, this makes no sense. So yeah, but
I'm glad
the rabble of that is gone. Hopefully, sometime in the next decade, and people will look back on it. It's like this was a pretty amazing thing to exist. They got all the original voice actors for all the characters. They all have little speaking parts and stuff, like they speak in the matches and things. It's got
because you gotta believe.
all of this music from PlayStation games and things like that. It's got the level thing. Like I noticed that, like the level, what do they call them? Mashups.
Yeah, they're kind of like they're mashups.
Yeah, they like take two different properties and mash those two properties into a single level.
It gets insane. It gets insane.
It's pretty cool. Like thinking about it now, I think they probably did it because they didn't. This is the first game in a franchise. You generally don't have as much time, and so they spent it all on mechanics and getting those characters right and feeling right and playing right and balance. And it's quite balanced now. There's some cheap moves that I used to use that all got cleared out. So it's like, oh, I don't know how to play this anymore. But the mashup levels were probably done because they didn't want to get criticized for not having enough properties as featured as levels, but they didn't want to make
Like
100
20 billion
different
levels.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, if we just combine two properties into one level, then we can make way fewer levels and people, maybe they won't notice. And yeah, I don't think people really noticed until maybe sometime down the road.
Because I kind of like the Little Big Planet and the Buzz level. Cause
Yeah.
it's like
That's cool.
because it's like constantly changing, but you also have the quiz questions happening too. So it's like,
Yep. So mechanically and all that, it's still really fun, and someday people will know. People will look back on it and it's like, wow. It's kind of cool. Like there are games that had such cult followings on PS3 that someday when they do bring back these properties, it's going to be really exciting. Like you'll be able to feel excitement because you got these hardcore audiences who are like, oh my gosh, it's the next Mag or the next PlayStation All-Stars or the next Warhawk and things like that.
They need to do Mag on PS4. It would make so much sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't play. I'm just saying. It's like the technology wasn't there. PS3, like 100%, but PS4, dude, that would just be insane.
It'd be so good. Even if they brought back the original on PlayStation Now, I'd be okay with that.
I mean, I really do hope like this year they do something like with the PlayStation 20th anniversary of like more stuff that is like, older that they haven't made like a new one in a long time. I'd look forward to that.
I want a modern.
you gotta
Siphon
believe.
filter, believe, co-op action, like Mega Strain, that'd be awesome. Sorry.
Were you having
Well,
it?
I'll get to that later. I've been feeling strange recently. So PlayStation All Stars, I've been slowly clearing my way through that, and sitting in my PS3, which is now in my closet. Sort of,
Hey, what?
kind of the best way to play. No, like I play in my closet.
Oh, you mean
I have a TV
your
and
podcast
stuff
closet?
in my closet. Yeah,
I was like,
the closet I'm sitting in now.
I was like, wait a minute. I forgot. Yeah, you do.
It's very cool
podcast
because
there.
it's my 24-inch PlayStation TV with the PS3 attached to it, and then it's just. I bought the silver headset, the wired
did
one,
too.
I
because it
did
was super
too.
cheap. Okay, so I gotta ask, like RPG, you said the fit is fine. Tekken, how are they?
It fits fine, but the pressure on the ears is a bit much after a while.
Mm.
Not
It
as
only
See,
gets like
I get
from-
that too.
If you're like,
Do you
well,
get that?
It only
RPG?
It only happens like if I'm like wearing it for like super extended periods of time, like when we're like taking hours and hours to raid. But it's like I also wear glasses, so it's like it's pushing the frames into my ear, so
Oh,
it does
okay.
that. But it's not like an issue unless like I said, it's like super extended periods of time. So
Yeah, I think it's the mesh. Like the mesh is really abrasive if you don't have the headband part adjusted right.
yeah,
And so, if you let it slide down your ear, it's sort of painful.
I don't know.
So you have to have it in the right place. But then, yeah, it is pushing your ears pretty tightly against your skull. And then it's just like certain pressure points, certain, protrusions on the ear are getting mashed there. And it just, after prolonged periods, it does kind of hurt. It's not, I think gold is still the most comfortable. Pulse is maybe second, and then this one. Well, no, I think Pulse and this one are just uncomfortable in the same way. Pulse is really heavy too, and then the original, comfort-wise, is okay, but it feels so cheap. The later three were much better. What was I talking about?
That's a good question.
Oh yeah, that's right. Playing in the closet.
games.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah, that, yeah.
I can have the headset and all. But yeah, anyways, I was looking at PS3, and so I was deciding, it's like, you know what? I'm playing this backlog PlayStation All Stars. I should start that Mass Effect thing that I've been talking about. So I started Mass Effect 2. Turns out I was even not as far in as I thought.
Wow.
I thought I had finished the first part and escaping the facility, but actually I had just met Jacob. That's where my save file was.
That's
I
like,
was like,
the big.
what?
That's like right after you create your character, Tropical.
I just about to say it's like you did
Pretty
nothing.
much, yeah.
So it's
I just learned to run, which was unfortunate because I forgot how to run.
Ah.
Because I learned how to run months ago, and then I started playing. I was like, wait, I thought I could run. None of these buttons are doing it. It's like, oh, that's right. It's like Gears of War. So I figured that out later. But I am liking Mass Effect 2 way more than the first one. And I think it's because, well, man, it's really hard to tell. The first time I played Mass Effect 1 was actually on PC, and I finished it on there. And then I wanted, because I bought 3 on PS3, and then I bought 2 later on PS3, and it's like, okay, so I have to play 1 on PS3. So I bought it, and as I was going through it, it irritated me a lot. And I remember on PC, I remember thinking there are certain parts where people give you side quests, and the side quests just felt very out of the way and insignificant. That I just felt like, you know what, there is a galactic threat going on. I don't have time to go look for your sister. It's like, I don't have time to scan these animals. And you didn't even ask me for help. You were just being coy, and then for some reason, my character offered to help. You didn't even know what you were doing.
Give it a really good shot to go
So,
like, yourself.
all that stuff, all that felt very unnatural to me. So when I played it on PS3, I was just like, okay, you know, that's what really killed me on the first run through. So this time, I'm just going to play it as naturally as possible. You know, if things aren't coming up naturally, I'm not going to offer my assistance when I don't know what you're doing, just so I can find out what you're doing. And so I didn't do most of the side missions, I think, in Mass Effect 1, just so I could get finally to Mass Effect 2. And I started playing that one, and I think the pacing, the way that missions are doled out is sort of different, and it feels more natural to me. For example, so I finished getting the first crew members, like when the Elusive Man gives you like the dossiers. Yeah, like, so I've gotten those, and then I met
I think presentation-wise,
the Alliance
also,
crew member.
just like the cutscenes are just a lot more well done. It's much more cinematic.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like presentation-wise and combat.
That performance is really good.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yes. It doesn't, look quite as good as it probably did back in the day.
One very specific
but,
man.
Yeah, I think it's because, like, with the Saren thing, it felt very urgent throughout the entire game. It's like, oh, this is a clear and present danger. We have to act on it now. So everything else, talking to the crew, there's probably multiple factors, but like things like talking to the crew and side missions just did not seem important at all. It's like, if they weren't on my way, then I'm not going to do any of them. But then in this one, there's like a real reason why we're not rushing off immediately to deal with this threat. First of all, we don't really know what's going on first. Yeah. And then the other thing is like, okay, once we found out what was going on, it's like, well, we can't exactly go immediately and deal with it because, technology reasons, and we have to be able to defend ourselves, and we can't do any of those things yet. And we don't. So there are reasons why we have to wait. And so it feels like there's a lot more time for me to do other things, like talk to the crew and like go on these scanning missions and stuff like that. Plus we need to scan. We need those elements and resources off those planets.
It's fun the first time, Tropical. But yeah, scanning, why? That is like the worst thing in that game.
I gotta say, like, this game feels a lot like Star Control, which was that game
Here
that
we
I
go
said feels
again. Here we go again.
Except in Star Control, when you need elements, you don't just get to scan the planet. You actually have to go down on the planet and play this sort of 2D roam around mini game and like pick up the elements with the ship or like this little shuttle. And then the little shuttle has sort of a cargo capacity. So once you pick up a few elements, you have to launch back to the mothership and then launch back down if you need more. And it was compared to that, like scanning and launching probes is so much more convenient. So yeah, like when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is Star Control. And I started playing, it's like, wait, this is easier. Like Star Control, that was super annoying. And then there were hazards and stuff on the planet. Sometimes your shuttle will go down and you're happily picking up minerals, and then there'll be an earthquake and your shuttle will just be destroyed and you just lose those minerals. Like, ah. But with the probes, it's like, oh, this is no problem. I'm just launching probes. And how many do I have to scan every single planet?
No.
You don't have to
You think?
do anything
Okay.
tropical.
I guess that's true. I started thinking about that. I was like, what if I don't know any of these crew members either? Can I just, blow through Mass Effect 2 in the way that I blew through Mass Effect 1?
But you want
Well,
them to be
tropical.
loyal. You're asking them to go on a suicide
RPG, don't,
mission.
RPG, don't say anything. Don't say
I
anything.
actually
say
don't
anything about
know.
it.
Like,
You don't say
well,
anything about
that's the thing. Like,
RPG.
it was.
There
was
will be
really cool
consequences,
because-
tropical, if you don't do things certain ways. So yeah.
You have to get to know them.
Have you played the suicide mission before?
No.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yes,
I can't
yes,
wait.
yes,
I cannot
I've
wait to
never
see
played
Tropical's
Mass Effect 2.
choices. And oh man,
See, that's why it's really cool, actually. One of the other thing is that Mass Effect 1, playing on PS3, I had actually played through it before. And so it felt kind of like a grind. It's like, I'm just trying to get through this so I can get to the second game. And the second game, like, really, I knew nothing about the second game. The only thing I knew about the second game was the prologue mission, because that was in the demo. And then you shoot stuff, and it feels different than the first game because that was in the demo too. And then the suicide mission, because you guys had talked about, you haven't talked about it specifically, but you've talked about that it exists in Mass
Stuff
Effect 2. So I was like,
goes
okay, so I
down.
know about that thing.
yeah.
But really, I knew nothing about Mass Effect 2. And so playing it now is like, it's actually really interesting. And I actually do want to talk to the crew members because
Don't do it. Half of them are jerks.
I don't know anything about them. And I actually like that part about Mass Effect 2. And Mass Effect 1 on PC, it got really weird because I did talk to the crew members, and then at one point they're just like, "You have to choose between us." I was like, I did not know this was going on. You have to make a choice. This is an ultimatum. I was like, what is happening? I thought we were saving the galaxy.
It's like, that can wait. We have a love affair going on.
It was, it felt very unnatural. But the second one, maybe it's that thing. Is like you're a soldier in the Alliance. You're the captain. It's like, come on, like there is impropriety, in whatever that word is. There are certain boundaries and stuff. We're in the military, and this is how it is. But Mass Effect 2 is more sort of rough and tumble because you're not in that position really, and your crew is like, rough and tumble. Like this is not an Alliance cruiser. Like this is very different. And so it's like they're interesting to talk to. It's like, wow, what is the, like, I know nothing about these people. Alliance, other Alliance people is like, well, yeah, we kind of have the same background. Like, yeah, you've done different military stuff than I have, but we're all in the military. I don't really need to know that much about you. Like, let's do the job. Mass Effect 2 is much more like, I guess that's another thing. Like, in Mass Effect 1, they used, there was that animation of just the Normandy flying, and that was my travel time. Like, that was the load screen, but in my mind, I felt like, oh, that's the travel time. And so there was no travel time. It was always, we're at this one place, and then we're at another place, and the load screen was all the travel time. So I have no time to talk to any of you. But in Mass Effect 2, there are times like you can just exit the map in the middle of space. It's like, yeah, so we're just out here in space right now. I'm gonna pretend this is travel time, and I'm just, I have nothing to do right now. Like, we're waiting to get to that other point, so I'm just gonna roam the ship and talk to people. Or I'm gonna roam the ship and just like get to know it, because I've never been on the ship before. Yeah, it's much better. So I guess my strategy this time is to play a little bit a day. So I'm constantly making forward progress. And it's worked out. I missed today, but I played a lot the night before. Or not Destiny night, but like the night before that, I played a lot. Usually I would just do one mission or like recruit one person. And that other night I played like 3 or 4 of them because it was getting pretty good. It's like, oh, this is really cool. And then like when the urgent mission popped up, it wasn't like, hey, here's this urgent mission, and then it just left you to your own devices like a lot of JRPGs do. It's like, oh, the final battle is here. Just, come whenever.
It's like, I will
In
destroy
Mass
the
Effect 2, it
world
was
until
like-
you're done.
It's like, yeah, we have this intel. You gotta go now. It's like, okay, we're going now. And we went then. And we did, stuff went down. It was like, cool. It feels right. So now I gotta find more people, I guess.
I'm not
And
saying anything. I'm not saying anything. Don't look at me. If you're any other RPG or anybody else out there, gamer.
I didn't even say anything.
Good. So I'll find you. Just like
Oh
Zephyr
my.
said, I know how to find you.
So yeah, it's getting pretty good. Those games. There was a third game.
Oh, let's see what else the article say. You had PlayStation Now on here.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I started doing. I got, once they announced the subscription plan, and it's $20 a month or $45 for 3 months. I got sort of excited. Well, at first I thought, it's like, that seems sort of high. And then I found out, it's sort of a subset of the games available on PlayStation Now. So, but then it's a really good collection of games. And I sort of went back and forth on it for a while. I was like, yeah, it doesn't. I think it's an okay deal, but it doesn't make sense for me because I have like 200-300 games in my backlog. So if I start paying money to play games within a certain month or 3-month period, then I'm just abandoning the backlog to play new games. So it didn't make any sense at that point. But then I thought of an extravagant, like fancy way to play my backlog. Because, I started thinking, the technology is really cool. And recently, I actually played one of my game nights with my friends entirely on remote play in my closet. So my PS4 is now in the living room, and I played the PS TV remote play in the closet, and it worked like flawlessly. And I was just like, wow, I'm super impressed. And SharePlay has impressed me. You know what? I want to experience PlayStation Now again. And I went and rented Anarchy Rush Hour on PlayStation Now. It's $5 to rent for 90 days. Because it's not that good. But at least I'm getting to see the technology. So I started playing it on PS4 in my living room. And it's like, well, it is a really weird racing game. Like, at one point they teach you to dodge traffic. And then the next point they teach you, or whatever, and you can just run through traffic, and it actually builds your boost meter. It's like, why did I need to dodge it, like, ever? If it's actually good for me to run through traffic. Anyway, it's not a very good game. I played that, And then I was like, okay, now let's really get into this. And so I turned on my Vita and just started playing in another room. It's like, wow, I can stream it onto my Vita. I was like, this is crazy. Like, it's a PS3 game running on my Vita. And then I went to my PlayStation TV in the closet. I was like, oh, yeah, I can play it here too. I can turn on my PS3 and play it wherever it is. And so it was really cool. And then I entered the like data management on my PS3 in the cloud, which is basically what PlayStation Now is. And I found out that you can actually upload and download save files to your virtual PS3 that is somewhere out there. And I got the idea, as like, wow, so actually I can use PlayStation Now to clear some of my backlog because some of those games I own them, but now I can play them everywhere because they're on PlayStation Now. So like, yeah, so when the subscription came out yesterday, I decided, you know what, I'm going to try it. So I signed up for the 7-day free trial and I downloaded Batman Arkham City, or I uploaded my Arkham City save to online storage, and then I downloaded it to my virtual PS3 somewhere out in the cloud. And then I was playing Arkham City on my PS4. It was really cool. It's like, oh, it works. It works sort of flawlessly, and it's pretty amazing. Unfortunately, you can't. The subscription service doesn't work on Vita or PlayStation TV right now. But in the future, I would be able to play my backlog from any of my TVs without moving my consoles around. I was like, there is some value in that. Like, it's sort of wasteful and extravagant, but yeah, okay. So that's what I'm doing. And yeah, the service, ever since the beta, I've always thought it's very impressive. It works in a way that you would not imagine it could, because we've had experience with remote play on PSP and to a lesser extent on Vita with PS3, and it just wasn't that great. But they must have made leaps and bounds in technology since then. Because SharePlay and PlayStation Now work essentially flawlessly. Like, if I had blindfolded you and you were sitting a regular distance away from a large TV and I just gave you a controller and you started playing, it's like, and then I asked you, is this being streamed or is it being played locally? You would have no idea. It would just be 50-50. Basically you're guessing. You don't know. It's really cool. I feel like I had something else to say about this thing, but I can't remember exactly what it was. I've thought a lot about it over the past few days. Just things like pricing and how they're gonna build the catalog and what the future holds for the system. I've been weirdly infatuated with PlayStation over the last month.
Weirdly infatuated.
Oftentimes I think to myself, man, I love PlayStation. It's very strange. I think part of it was like the first time I thought it to myself, I downloaded the 20th anniversary theme on PS4 and it plays music. And some of that music is made up of the startup sounds from the different generations of consoles. And I was sitting there, I was like, wow, I'm very moved for some reason. I was just like, oh, I love PlayStation. And it's been kind of crazy. Like, I will often have these thoughts like, man, I love PlayStation. It's weird. So I'm surrounded by tons of PlayStation stuff. It's pretty ridiculous. I've been looking into buying a PS3 soundbar that they don't make anymore. But it's like, oh, it'd just be neat to have. Like, I have this PlayStation 3D TV that they don't make anymore either. It's a pretty decent monitor. I don't know if I'd pay $400 for it, but at the around $100 mark that I got it for, I was like, yeah, it's really good. I have all of the PlayStation headsets. Why? I only have 2 ears. But yeah, it just that happened. I got the 20th anniversary PlayStation 4. That was a 2-hour battle with online server stuff and presumably everyone else trying to buy one. Now I'm like, I have to buy furniture to put this on. So it's not even out. It's just in its box as I wait new furniture.
So,
This has taken a strange turn. I think I'm done.
all right. Well, we can go ahead and like sign off because we're almost at the 2-hour mark. So it's gonna go overtime on the stream, and then we can just do Aimless News standalone.
Sounds good. Well, you should have expected it. We haven't talked in a few weeks, and when that happens, we generally have a lot to say. Things happen, and
They do.
we need outlet.
RPG
So yeah,
or tropical or. It's been such a long time. I don't remember how to sign off.
check out the news thing that's coming up next, and will be a separate YouTube video probably. Download all that stuff.
Yeah.
So those will be all on the YouTube channel. Twitch.com will have them if the stream doesn't crap out. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And aimlesspodcast.com will have those things as well. 2015. Oh, it's going to be amazing.
It better be. It better be.
It's funny because I'm trying to like that one word. I can't think of it, but like hold back my getting hyped for this year because so many games got delayed last year. I'm like
Tempered
yes,
expectations.
temper my hype for this year, but it's like I can't help it. It's like dude, we are stacked from floor to ceiling games all year long, dude. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Not since 1998 has there been a year
A long time ago.
so full of games. Anything to say before we sign off, RPG?
Video games.
Alrighty then. So yeah, Tropical said, check us out anywhere on the internet. And yeah. Oh, I was gonna bring back the FM list, but I don't have it ready. I did buy a notebook though, so I can start writing again on like stuff. And that was like back when I was like super on point for the podcast. I was like, I got it written down, and I wrote it, and yeah, news and stuff. But yeah, believe it's going to be happening again. But until then, you know, I'll be playing Destiny and other stuff. We'll find out next week. Tropical RPG. Who knows? Will RPG Tropical make more progress in Mass Effect? Will RPG
No.
something words something?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Well, it's New Year, you know. Nothing. Or will RPG find something in the New Year that has enraged him so much that he's been like, I don't like this. Who knows?
just like that.
So mellow.
Just like that.
Who knows? Find out on the next episode of Aimless Babble Z.